Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Heel Podcast, where Mike's trying to hydrate himself, and we're going to see if we can move on to talking about the two, I guess you would say, announcements for video games, and then we will move on to talking about the finale, complete finale of Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and and an ending with a character spotlight from Mike. Mike, please fix your headset because you're looking like you're balding right
Oh,
now.
my hair. My hair.
That's why I laughed. I literally go, it literally looks like you're balding. And I'm like, I know you're not yet.
Is that
Better.
better?
It's
All
better. It's
right.
only a spot now instead of a full line across your head.
That's what's funny is that my hair was all like spiked all over, so I was trying to set up my headset so that way it would cover up the spikes, but instead it created a bald spot. Oh, that's
It's a pretty
hilarious.
big bald spot, too. But anyway, so we got introduced to the fact that we're going to be getting a pretty much all of the, I think all, I don't know if it's all of them, but a lot of the 8-bit and 16-bit Marvel games. So the X-Men
Yeah,
one
like
was
the
one we
old
definitely
classic
played
arcade
together.
games, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, the reason why I say that is I don't know if it's all of them, but it's definitely a lot of them.
Yeah, it was
Because it's Silver
four of them.
Surfer. We have the one that I really wanted to play as a kid was the Arcade's Revenge with Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
That one was definitely one on my list to play because it also was on the Super Nintendo. Fun fact for the
Oh,
kids.
well, okay.
Because back then, what was happening um, was they were making some of them were transitioning to like Super Nintendo. Not all of them, but some of them were. So like a lot of like the fighting games, like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, that were arcade games, were then turning into like console games, so you can play them at home instead of having to go to the arcade.
I
Uh,
remember some like arcade games going on
it
to
wasn't a
console, but I
lot. No,
didn't
no, it wasn't a
realize.
lot, but
Oh, yeah.
it was more than I realized at times, but also like not all of them. Like, it was very weird. Like, it was a lot of niche ones. Like, some made sense, and then others I was like, why are we going that route?
You need to keep talking. I need to be right back.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So yeah, so we talked about that. So there's this a Silver Surfer game which I thought was very interesting. We have the X-Men one, which is the more classic one, which you can play as Cyclops, Storm, Nightcrawler, Colossus, Wolverine, and Dazzler. And there was one place I used to play it at where, unfortunately, you could never play as Dazzler or no, I almost said Galactus. That was very stupid of me. Or Nightcrawler because the machine was broken. But I thought that was kind of cool. So I'm excited to play. I'm probably going to play all those, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. The other thing, too, is I believe, and I might be mixing it up with another game, which very well could be the case, is I believe you can actually connect with other players like throughout the stratosphere through online connection, which, if so, so much fun. Because there was also a Ninja Turtle game not connected to this, by the way. There were a lot of like Ninja Turtle games that I like playing too that were similar vibe. So then the next one was no, it's not called the Wolverine. It's just called Wolverine. So Wolverine was a big one where I'm excited about because Wolverine looks awesome. It's just called Wolverine. Good. And it's coming out September 15th of 2026. So this is a single player action adventure game for PS5, which is awesome. It's given me like because I believe it's Insomniac that makes it. Correct? Hold on, let me just make sure. Doesn't say. Why doesn't it say? Oh, it does. Insomniac. Insomniac. So we're going to be getting like a kind of hodgepodge of all of Wolverine's battles. So we're going to be, excuse me, they're going to be featuring characters like Mystique and Omega Red for sure, and they're including locations like Madripoor, who which we actually get to see, which we saw in. Give me a second. Um, I'm sorry, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Canada and Tokyo, and it's the usual stuff. So I'm curious if it's going to be very similar in the sense of like um, Spider-Man will be upgrading like skill set. So like although he doesn't get tech and stuff like that, which does make sense, but like learning his skills and everything else and increasing his healing factor will actually be kind of cool too. Or seeing if that's even going to be a factor, because that's another thing too. I would imagine the way they're going to do it is probably like increasing health and increasing what's it called? healing factors as well. But we're also going to be, like it says, it's going to be exploring his past and his present. So I'll be very curious to see. We're going to be getting Bone Claw Wolverine and Adamantium Wolverine, which would be kind of cool because right now, obviously, the trailer and all the gameplay that we've seen so far has been Adamantium. So because of that, I'm thinking less that we're going to have Bone Claw Wolverine, but it's still a possibility just because if they're going to go into his past, I mean, he didn't have adamantium claws his entire life. He spent most of his life obviously having um, bone claws first. So I'll be very curious to see that, especially if we're going back to Canada, which I hope we also get to see Alpha Flight. And obviously, we would be seeing weapon facility. I believe it's Department H, if I remember correctly, the name of the place, which is where Wolverine gets his claws. Well, his adamantium claws specifically. Because, fun fact, he has bone claws, for those of you who don't know, and then it gets covered by adamantium. Which I always find to be an interesting thought process when they go back and talk about his past. But I'm really excited about that because I love the Spider-Man games, and so because of that, I really want this game to do well as well. Don't like how I said that, but we'll move on past that. Um, so yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like really trying to focus on the gameplay. Also hoping for Bloodlust as well, and also wondering if we're going to be playing as any other character. Because obviously, right now we're only seeing gameplay for Wolverine, which obviously makes sense because it's a Wolverine game. However, with Mystique being there as well, as a sniper and everything else, that'd be kind of cool. Omega Red, obviously not a character we would play, but we could also play as Sabretooth, which would be kind of cool. Because Sabretooth's got to be in it, so there's some characters I'm going to be assuming are going to be in it that they have not announced. Sabretooth, Silver Fox, Silver Samurai, lots of silvers, and Striker, obviously. Striker's a big one. If Striker's not in it, I will be shocked. And especially if we're going to be exploring his past, it better have Striker in it. But I'm trying to think of anything else like Mystique. I don't know if we're actually going to see the X-Men. I would feel like they're going to be like a cutscene maybe, but they're definitely not going to play major roles for obvious reasons. Like we're not going to have a Storm. Like I feel like those mutants are too powerful to be in the game where it would make sense for them to be in it. They can be mentioned for sure, which makes sense to me because they're a part of his life. Alpha Flight as well because they try to have him join. But I'm very curious to see where it's going to go overall. But I mean, like I said, that game is going to be, in my opinion, incredible. And I'm just looking forward to it, just because it's going to be kind of awesome. But while I'm thinking of it, let me just look to see if there's anything else that we need to know about it, because there was a lot. Because it's inspired by the long-running comic book mythology of him. Is a standalone entry in the Marvel Spider-Man series, which makes sense. Which we kind of already figured that it's part of the same series, which would be kind of awesome that we're going to get probably more. Revealed that planned in the first in a trilogy focused on the X-Men, similar to Marvel's Spider-Man series. So I'm sorry. So Insomniac Games in December 2023 revealed that the studio was developing several new Marvel video games, all in various stages of development. Marvel's Wolverine is planned as the first in a trilogy focused on the X-Men, which I did not realize. The hack also confirms a new licensing deal between Insomniac Games and Sony Interactive and Marvel. Under this agreement, Insomniac will work with Marvel to produce X-Men video games. The deal includes restrictions. While X-Men characters can appear in other Marvel games, Marvel cannot announce a new X-Men game from other publishers for consoles, PC, or cloud streaming during the agreement. Additionally, other first-party so how long it's going to be in general, which I find to be interesting. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting just to know that because I wasn't aware of that at all. Um, So that's kind of actually getting me very excited. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm very happy to see that. um, so Mike's going to be taking a little bit longer than expected. So I am going to be getting us to the next step. So one of the big things, like I said, the video games were a huge thing. I mean, X-Men. So I have to say, Marvel Wolverine. I was not expecting it to be a trilogy. I also know that there's a rumor that there's going to be an Iron Man game as well. That one gives me a little bit of a concern. Reason why is just the flying and everything else. Um, it has to be pretty smooth for that. Like I don't know. We'll see. I mean, maybe it's going to be easy. Maybe it's going to be very similar to like swinging on the webs with Spider-Man, where like the flying doesn't really matter because it doesn't add to anything spectacular. It's just an added motion in which Iron Man can move. Um, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But that's much later, and that hasn't been announced. The only ones that have been announced, like I said, are the Marvel arcade games and the Wolverine. I was almost very stupid in forgetting that, which is very interesting to think about. But for now, we're going to be pausing here until Mike gets back. And then once Mike gets back, we will go into more detail of Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and his character spotlight. So bear with us. Okay. So now we're going to be moving on to talk about Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the second half of season 2. What were your thoughts overall?
Um, I liked it. I think the second half, I think, wasn't as good as the first half. I kind
So
of,
I agree.
yeah, I think the second half kind of uh just kind of went in a lot of different directions, and it didn't feel as complete as the first half did, and even the second half of season one. And I think there are some stories that are still kind of that were left unanswered as well, which kind of
I mean, I agree.
disappointed me. Um, so I'm wondering if they were planning to do at least hoping to do a season three, and obviously the ending the way it was a fine ending, but it also leaves you open to that if they can continue into a season three, it is possible. Because I mean, as I just said, unanswered questions. You know, so overall, the show I thought it was good.
Yeah,
Uh,
so what I was going to say is I think for me the second half felt like although we saw those other characters, like out of nowhere they're going to be Avengers now.
yeah,
And
it
like
was just like
Wolverine happened to be at the wrong place at the right time.
yeah, it was like here you go. Here's a card. You did good. You're now part of the team. I get it because I mean, the idea of the Avengers is like a hero in every corner of the earth. But it was like
Mm.
okay, just handing out teammate cards without really even knowing them. It's like okay. Um, Also, I know last week I had said that there were other characters where the voices I recognized. I remembered
Oh,
who it
I
was.
looked them up. There's a lot.
There is a lot. One of them, the one that stuck out to me the most was Falcon.
Yeah, you know who
He,
that is.
yep, Zeus from
He
whatever.
also Lex Luthor and Harley Quinn.
Oh, yep, and Commander Zavala from Destiny, the
Oh,
Titan.
okay, I did not know that one.
Yep, yep. I know him from a bunch of stuff, but obviously those are the three big ones that I know him from. But like I said, that was the big one that I recognized the voice. But yeah, there was a lot of like I said, it was the second half of it just wasn't as strong as the first half. Um,
I mean, it's weird as it sounds. Um, it was replaced immediately with a new Avengers show. That's all it's stating, which is what irritates me.
really,
So literally, once this show was canceled, so this came out what in 2012, the last
yeah.
season.
He, I mean, I think it was 2012 from when it started.
Really?
Earth's Mighty.
I mean, I'm looking
Uh,
at it right now and I don't see it, so I'm 2010
2010 to 2012. Okay. Yep.
So in 2013, they already had plans for a new Avengers show, and then so that's why they canceled it, which is so stupid.
Yeah, that is pretty stupid. I mean, I
And
guess
so the reason
it
why,
might not have been as popular as they were
no,
hoping.
that's not why. Because I'm reading it, the only reason why is because the new series was supposed to be based more on and go off of the success of the Avengers movie,
No, okay, because
which I don't see why you couldn't do both, but that's just me. Um,
I mean, the idea is you don't want to have too many things going on at once because it'll confuse viewers.
this one has 5 seasons,
How many episodes?
127.
I meant how many episodes per season, not in total.
Divide that by 5. Hold
Oh,
on, I'll tell you in a second. Shush. Oh, come on! You're gonna make me go through all this? Hold on.
about give or take about 25 episodes per season.
Some with 26,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yep.
And this went on for 5 seasons. Interesting. From
So
20.
here we're thinking that 26 episodes in a season was a lot. Now they did it for 5. That's crazy.
So ready for this?
Yeah.
This is interesting. So why is that's interesting?
You going to share the interesting facts with me, or are you going to keep telling yourself it's interesting?
So this was from 2013 to 2019.
Okay. All right.
That's one of them. And then they supposedly interact with a few of them in a few of the other shows. So there's 4 other shows: Hulk and the Agents of Smash,
Okay. All right.
Ultimate Spider-Man,
Yep.
Guardians of the Galaxy, weirdly enough, Marvel Spider-Man.
Two
Don't ask me.
Spider-Man. Two
Don't ask me.
Spider-Man.
Don't ask me. Don't ask me questions. Don't ask me
I
questions.
am asking those questions.
Um. Oh, shut up! Red Guardian's in this.
Got to capitalize on its success, right? Although that
Well,
was
this is
post.
this
That
is
was
before pre. This is pre.
yeah. That's funny.
That's hilarious. Anyway, I thought this was so. Anyway, so we're gonna eventually watch this. We're not watching it now though because we only have what 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, we wouldn't have enough time. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean.
Either
So,
way, we wouldn't have enough time before the next show comes out.
this
Anyways.
isn't. It's just 2 weeks, correct?
Uh,
Before the new thing happens.
it yes, it should be two more weeks, and then the third week is
The
Daredevil.
actual.
I believe.
No, I thought it's Invincible first.
Sorry, yes, Invincible. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just actually looking up shows right now, so I do apologize. But anyway, so yes, that's so my whole thing is so this is actually pretty good. I did like it. Very few things I didn't like, to be honest with you.
So, what are things that you did not like?
So for me, it was all of a sudden they were all okay with Yellow Jacket, which was a little concerning for me.
I was gonna ask if that was kind of a comic thing with the.
Well, so like he's still Hank Pym because it's not the Yellow Jacket that's the villain, weirdly enough, and like he has taken on the mantle as the hero for a bit. I mean, weirdly enough, you also fight him in Avengers Ultimate Alliance too. So there's a fight scene where you either face Goliath, or you face Yellow Jacket. It's literally the same type of battling. Obviously, it just depended on which side you picked. So I mean, it exists, and it's just not. I don't know. It just wasn't that great for me, in my opinion. But that's just a me thing because I was hoping for it to be better.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. Where obviously, like, I was like, okay, Hank Pym was just trying to do all these horrible things, which, I mean, sure, he had like a completely changed personality, and everyone's like, yeah, okay, we'll accept him just immediately instead of a little more resistant. Um, I mean, obviously, it's one of those things where again, it's a kids show, so they're kind of like rushing those topics and instead of dragging it out. So I do get that, but that was my big that was one of the questions I wanted to ask is if how Yellow Jacket held up versus like the comics, um, in that kind of sense.
Mm. No, you're
Uh,
absolutely right. So it was just one of those things where it's like it worked, but then it felt way too forced. Like, oh, he's on the team now. Like it
yeah,
was one of those things where it was like some parts like felt like it worked, and then other parts felt like it was rushed.
I
And
thought it was funny that they when Hank Pym was believed to have been killed, uh, they put up the memorial for Ant Man, but yet
mhm.
we have another Ant Man, and we've seen him in a later episode after that. I was like, was this skipped over, or did they forget about him? Like, what happened here?
No, you're absolutely right, and that's kind of my point. Where it's like it was one of those things where it just kind of bothered me a little bit, just in general, just because it was kind of like I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was expecting us to kind of be um, like kind of getting like more information in general, I guess. And like we
Yeah,
really didn't get much, which was irritating to me. But that's just a me thing personally.
I have a. It feels like that when they found out that they were not getting a season three, they kind of rushed to put as much as they could into this
I am glad
this.
you said that because that's kind of how I felt too. Where it's like the first half seemed like they were going somewhere, and then
Yeah,
once we got rid of the Kree, it kind of went like, oh, Galactus is here. He's going to try to eat the world. We need everyone to team up.
yeah, and like obviously Galactus can be like a big
He
plot.
could be a season in of itself, really.
Yeah, um, yeah. I when what's funny is that I saw the titles
Hmm.
and I was reading the descriptions and I was like, oh, okay, obviously when I saw the Avengers have to save the galaxy, my first thought is okay, Galactus, but I'm like that doesn't make sense that they put Galactus in the very last episode. It's probably something still tied to the Kree, and because the Kree is trying to take over their sector of the galaxy, and
Hmm.
whatever, and but then then the last episode of the Kree happened, and then I'm like, so are they actually going Galactus? And then they did. I was like, well, all right. I mean, it works, but it
I mean,
kind
it
of
worked.
was
It worked
rushed.
for the tie-in because they did like at least hint at it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they hinted at it, which was fine by me. Like I didn't have a problem with it. It was just more the fact of like we're really going this route so quickly.
Yeah,
That was more my issue
I mean, and then
personally.
my biggest thing is that we just never saw an answer. We never finished the Asgardian story.
No, because Surtur
So
still was out
yeah,
there causing mayhem with the Enchantress as his herald.
yeah,
So it was just like I agree with you. So yeah, I mean like that is one of the big ones that I had a problem with. I did like Beta Ray, which was awesome, but like then we just lost the Asgardians completely, and
yeah.
then we're like we're all gonna fight Galactus together, and like Galactus is a hard hitting guy. Don't get me wrong, or cosmic being, and these heralds, interestingly enough, they made them as constructs of matter.
That
So in the
that's yeah,
comics, just to give you a heads up, is they are actual heralds. If I believe all of them are actual heralds. The difference is, although they have the powers of the elements, they are still whatever being they are.
yeah. I
So
remember.
like
I remember you saying that like he turns heroes or whoever into his herald, and they herald of
so
herald
each
of
one of them
death.
had their own weapons. So like Silver Surfer has his surfboard. He Fire Lord had the fire spin like thing. You had the guy with his like hammer slash axe, the
Mm,
earth one or the rock one, whatever you want to call him. And then the wind and the water, I couldn't remember. Oh no, the water had like a trident, shockingly. Um, and then what
classic.
did the wind one have? I forget, but it doesn't matter. They all had a weapon, and like Galactus normally gives them a weapon, which gives them the power cosmic. So the
Okay.
idea is in the comics, if you remove, which I think you've seen in the Rise of Silver Surfer, that movie, where when you remove the cosmic item away from them, they don't have the cosmic power anymore.
I don't remember. I mean, I obviously
So
if I saw the movie, so obviously I saw it. I just don't remember.
So the idea is they used a pulse or whatever that caused him to not be able to use like get stay on the board,
Oh yeah 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 yeah
and
yeah.
then once he was off the board, he lost his power. Because the
Yep.
idea is there's other renditions of it though that you absorb some of it and then you just use the item to replenish it.
Yeah.
It's tomato.
So the reason why I was confused is because I thought the it might have just been my misunderstanding, but I thought you had said that we saw the other heralds of Galactus, so we saw like the items, and then when they took the items away, they lost their
Oh
powers.
no, sorry,
I
sorry.
realized you were only talking about the Silver Surfer, so that's why
No, we
I was
don't. But
confused.
in general, the idea is if you remove the item from them, they would lose their power.
They lose their
But
powers.
we
Yeah,
never saw that because they were just elements to be destroyed.
yeah. Um,
Um, the only other thing that the one thing I will say that felt a little weird was how odd Galactus's machine was to absorb his energy. Like it looked very primitive. I know that's very weird to say, but it looked like it was just literally just a hunk of metal, like pieces of metal put together, and then giving him the energy from the Earth.
I mean, I didn't really think too much on that, to be honest. So
I think the reason. So I will say this: I didn't notice it that much until they destroyed it, and then he put it back together immediately. That was where I had my issue.
yeah,
But that's minor stuff. Um,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I said it like I didn't think too much on it, so it didn't really that didn't really bother me. I was like, okay, he's got a plan B kind of thing, whatever. But I can understand your point. Absolutely.
yeah. I also like that we finally got the Hulk back because that took forever.
That took a long time. And obviously, you were right about it being General Ross. Like I just the reason why.
I will say this right now, hand on my table. Dead set thought they were going a different route because I'm like, I keep because at this point I was like,
They
so I
kept
told
doing
you
like
like it's
they-
definitely Ross. There's no way it's not Ross. It can't be anybody but Ross. And
Yeah.
then in that episode, I'm like, it's not Ross. Who do they got? Who do they got? Like I'm going through the Rolodex. I'm like, is it this one? I'm like, that's Abomination. We've already seen him. Nope, next. And I'm like, well, he's more of an Abomination esque. Did they really go Red Hulk with him? And then and then he transforms back, and I went, oh, the world is right.
I was like, all right, that's basically how I was going. I was like, okay, who else could be Red Hulk? Because the way that they were going, and they really made it seem like it wasn't him.
Well, the thing that threw me off the most was him joining the Avengers, messed me up. And then Ross being like, all Hulk should be in prison. And I'm like, what? I'm sitting here doing math and I'm like, it's not adding up. I'm like, 2 + 2 fish. That's not right. 2 + 2 triangle. This isn't working. But yeah, then he finally showed his face and I was like, there we go. Now I feel better. We did not get a lot of Nick Fury in general. I'm kind of like for a show that like made it seem like it was heavily Nick Fury. Like Nick Fury disappeared from the series real quick.
Yeah,
and then
Nick
just
Fury,
disappeared.
I mean, even Maria Hill in the second half really disappeared like completely.
No, agreed. How did you like Annihilus from the Negative Zone?
Oh, right. I thought that was very interesting. That one threw me off with the bugs. That just really like I was like.
Weirdly enough, very comic book accurate.
Oh, okay.
Extremely comic book accurate. It's disgusting. When I say it that way, it's just more the fact of like sometimes they get it like 1,000% right, and this was one of them where it was like, although they like it felt like out of place, the idea was they thought there was nothing there, and it turns out there was something there, which is not atypical from anything. But no, Annihilus is considered one of the most dangerous villains, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But we don't see much of him because he's in the Negative Zone.
Mm-hmm.
So weirdly enough, he's more of a Fantastic Four thing because they normally deal with the Negative Zone. Mm-hmm. Not to say that others don't deal with him; they do, but just like everything else. But yeah. I also what else did I like?
I liked the Emperor Stark episode.
That one. First off, out of left field, but in the best way. Like
I know.
like that was one where I was like, so I read it, right? Meaning like I read the name of the episode, but it didn't go into detail. Like obviously it didn't say Purple Man, or at
Yeah.
least I didn't read enough of it to see it. So
Yep.
I'm like, how are we going
How
here?
did we get here? Yeah.
I'm like, because they were talking about Kang and everything else, and I'm like, how? Like, is this a different timeline? And then I see what happens, and I went, that was really smart on their part.
It
Good for
really
them.
was. I really
Like,
liked that episode.
it was
Um,
honestly one of my favorites for like the non-plot episode. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like it was such a good episode because it was like it worked and didn't at the same. Meaning, like let me phrase it this way: like it works, but it had nothing to do with the main overarching start like of
Yeah.
the series. But like it works so well, and even I'm like, because even you know what's even funnier? I went, why is everyone's eyes purple? Like I don't know if you noticed it, but I'm like, why is it? This is before we even get introduced to Purple Man, because I'm like, why is everyone's eyes purple? And I'm like, oh, it's because of the light. The light, the energy is purple, so therefore everyone's eyes is just purple. And then they're like, he's being controlled by people. And then when I saw the captain's eyes change color, I went, oh, mind control. Who does that? Purple Man. Oh,
Well, so what's funny is that when we first saw Purple Man, because it clicked in my head. When it clicked in my head was the fact that when Captain, similar to you, when Captain America's eyes changed back, that's when I was like, oh, okay, clearly mind control. But when I saw the purple at first, my head did not go to Purple Man.
oh no,
And
no. I want to make that very clear. When I say that, it was like mind control, and then I'm like, who does mind control? So I'm going Cersei, but she's normally green. Or Enchantress is normally green. So I'm like, I go maybe Cersei, but Cersei isn't like a bad guy in the Marvel universe like she is in the DC universe. Same Greek mythology thought, but you get my point. So I'm like, that's not it. And then I'm like, then I'm going through the Rolodex, and I'm like, purple mind control. And then as soon as I saw him, I went, shut up.
well, so when I first saw him, when I first was going through it, because my head went purple. Who have we seen in this show that's purple? And I was like, Wonder Man. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense for Wonder Man. Like, like, are we going in a different direction here? And then I saw him and he was half purple, and my brain still went like, okay, has he been cured? Because we didn't really see what has come of him. Um, and like he's still getting revenge on Tony Stark. And then they said Purple Man. I'm like, oh, duh, that makes perfect sense now. Like,
No, it's one of those things where it's like he's a character that is like really unknown for the most part. Like obviously Jessica Jones took him through the roof, meaning
yeah,
like everyone knows who he is now. But he's a character that just he fits everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It is
yeah,
bizarre. Like because you think of him as only like dealing with one person. And then all of a sudden you see him go against the Avengers and you're like, how does that make any sense? And then you watch it and you go, it does make a lot of sense.
it
If it's
makes
irritating.
perfect sense.
No, it
Like,
does. It does.
he's a strong villain, like legitimately, and clearly we saw in this episode, like he can be really dangerous. So, like I said, this was one of this part of the season. This was my favorite episode because
No,
it was so
but
well done.
I think I was just so thrown off by it where I was like, because when Vision wakes up, I'm like, what is going on? Because
Yeah, and I'm like, everyone's attacking him.
We had Stark Sentinels, and I'm like, now I don't know what's happening.
I literally was like, what happened in 30 days that
I'm not
everything
gonna lie to you,
was-
I stopped the episode and made sure I didn't miss an episode.
I think I did that too, to be honest. I don't
Because
remember.
I think it might because some in my mind I'm like sometimes it skips episodes. It's rare, but it happens. So I looked and I was like, nope, and I was like, oh.
Oh, that's right. I was watching it on the computer, and when it came up, and I was like, did I miss something? I opened it up on my phone to double check the episodes, and like, nope, everything's going in order. That's interesting. Then I saw the title, Emperor Stark. I was like, I know we have Emperor Doom. Like, did he screw up with the timeline or like something like that? And
So I literally went all the same routes as you, and then I could honestly tell you, like great twist. Don't get me wrong. Never would have guessed it in a million years. Never.
no.
And I love the way they made him look too, because they gave him because realistically, if you can control people by just being around them, it doesn't matter what you look like.
Yeah.
Which makes 1,000% sense. But it just threw me off that they made him completely purple.
Yeah.
Which doesn't ruin anything. But I love that it was just because Tony Stark like threw him up or whatever, and was like, this is like the worst villain ever. And then he just like, fine, I'm gonna take over the world thanks to
He
you.
he he got embarrassed, so he got to get like revenge to the umpteenth. Like that was
Which
no, that
also
was
not surprising though for those who know his character, which is even funnier.
yep.
No, that was a good one too. I like Spider-Man in general because he came back for a little bit.
Yep, he did.
Uh,
I wasn't. One of the things that I wasn't too crazy about, and this just might be because I'm more MCU pilled, is the fact that I wasn't too crazy about the Winter Soldier episode. It felt like he kind of snapped out of his mind control just too easily. Um,
So, from what I understand, and I'm going off of the show itself, he was not
he,
brainwashed in the same way,
yeah,
where he like still was in control of himself, but then he kind of like it's one of those weird things where it's like he
he
was more
was
like
under
Black
mind
Widow.
control.
I think he was like more like Black Widow in the sense of like he had
Yeah,
more control over himself than we realize
yeah,
in this, and so like a lot of his decisions, he realized like, oh, this is the way I was. How do I want to phrase it? Like trained in the sense of by Red Skull, which is why he was like, and then he turns his back when Captain America needs help.
yeah. But at the same time, he still hates Cap, which
Well, yeah, and I think it has to do with just the fact of like like they don't go into much detail about it, but like he gets decommissioned a lot, which we see in the movie,
mhm,
but they only talk about in the show. So
yeah,
he's seen the world where Cap didn't. So like Cap literally goes from World War II
yeah,
to
to present day.
present day, where he goes literally every war he's there.
Yeah, but so like
And I
even
love
it.
him and Nick Fury hating each other. That's fun.
Oh yeah, but in this, it showed it that he was well aware of Cap and his situation. So it's not like he knew he was Steve Rogers. He knew he was his friend, and he said it. He's like I had to go through things while you took an 80-year nap. You don't get to whatever like tell
Judgment.
me. Yeah, judge me. You know,
Which is
which
another thing too.
yeah. So
That
it's
is
like
another factor because it's like he again, I know it's so weird to say because it's obvious, but like he's seen the aftermath of everything Captain America when he wasn't there. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So like in his mind, Captain America just failed in his mind. Um, and then when he came back, it's like, oh, he gets to be the hero again, and I'm just the villain. And I think it's kind of like a jealousy thing because again, he's not completely controlled in the normal sense.
yeah.
Like, and that's where it
Clearly,
gets a little wonky.
yeah. No, it was
Also,
a very interesting.
hated the virus. By the way, hated the virus.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird.
Well, as soon as it happened, I went, really? We're going Red Skull? Like, I knew immediately because it was
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah.
But, like,
Well, I was like, okay, this is a virus. It's gonna be zombies. Then I saw the red face, and I was like, a red skull zombie virus? Like, what? um,
also love the. I will say, though, the best part of that episode was him being the Secretary of Defense.
he worked his way up. That was yeah. No, I did like that part of the episode.
I will tell you that, although I thought the Red Skull was behind it all, I was not expecting him to be the Red Skull. Meaning, like, I wasn't expecting the Secretary of Defense to be the Red Skull. I thought he was working for the Red Skull.
No, I'll be honest. I thought he was this. I thought he was gonna be Red Skull. I kind of just I just kind of as soon as it started, I was like, this is Red Skull.
Okay.
I don't know why, but it just my brain instantly went there.
Also, it was weird with like the mechas too. Like that felt like it came out of nowhere too. His mechas.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like he decided to have a Megazord. Like I was very confused by that.
It was this show where it had a lot of mechazoids, right? Or was it another show that we just watched? Oh no, the Batman Ninja. We're watching a lot of stuff with mechazoids lately, and it's like out of nowhere.
Megazords, yeah.
You're not
That
expecting it.
that was Batman. Ninja Batman. But no, I like I said, there was some. This one felt like weirdly enough, like this first half of season 2 was great, and I was like, oh, we're leading into some great stuff. Like I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I was curious how it was ending because I know it was done after, excuse me, this season.
Mm-hmm.
But the second half really felt out of place.
Yeah, yeah.
Meaning, like compared to the rest of the series,
No, it very much so.
like although like it went in order, it felt like it was like a completely different group of writers because it was like everything was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, and we got like in this second half, we just got, which I understand it, but it's like Tony Stark with his leadership doubt and trying to pass it on to Cap, and then like it not working
Ever
out,
happening?
but still does. It's like in the last
Mhm.
episode, it's like, okay, I'm actually done. You're in charge. It's like, all right, that just
Like you said it 47 times in the last 47 episodes.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just weird in general. Um, yeah, I mean, I did like Kang's episode.
I did. That one I did like. I like that he, influenced by the Council of Kang.
I
I
also
like,
like them being like, we had no problem taking care of our Avengers.
yeah.
Why are yours such a problem? And he's
It's
like,
like
don't destroy my timeline.
yep, means like if you can't resolve this, you're done. And like that creates a nice threat to that. It makes him, I did enjoy that. Um
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, like overall, it was nice. It was okay. I felt like definitely, if we had to rank all four parts that we did, this was the worst,
yeah, I agree.
hands down. And that's just a me thing.
No,
I mean, I think you
I
agree
think
too.
I think it went from season. I'm gonna break it up into 4 seasons, even though it's 2 seasons.
No, I
But
understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
it's gonna go from season. It gradually got better from season 1, 2,
This is
3,
three.
and
I would
then
agree.
season 4 just like went way below season 1. Um,
Yeah, no, I agree. And it felt like it wasn't even it was like a straight drop.
yeah, yep. Um,
Also, how did you like the Supreme Intelligence?
that one weirded me out. I was like, giant tentacle monster. What? Like,
Yeah, so comic book accurate, yes, but
I figured that this the
but it's
way that
just it's
they've
a
been going.
what's weird though is like it's a combination of all of the brightest brains
Mhm,
added in with technology to create the master intelligence.
yeah. I
Still
think
don't know
that's.
how it works. I don't know how it works. Still don't make like just because I said that doesn't mean I understand it.
I mean, it's
It,
comics. What do you expect to understand? I mean, there's
that
no logic.
brains plus technology equals tentacle monster apparently.
I have to say, I think I do like the way the MCU did it better in terms of like just a
Oh,
master computer. But
agreed.
um,
Sometimes you have to modernize it because it doesn't
yeah,
always work perfectly. Sometimes they don't do it well, obviously, but
yeah,
there are other times where they do it really well.
yeah. And I do think this is one of those times where it did work with the times, and if this is supposed to be such an advanced race, it makes sense. Um,
Hmm. I mean, I'm gonna 100% agree with you.
I have to say that when Captain Marvel had his armor off and he, as soon as I saw him, I was like, "Oh, Star Wars collab." He looked like Thrawn to me, so I immediately was like, "Oh, we're bringing Star Wars into the Marvel again. Here we go."
I hate you.
Are you gonna tell me I'm wrong?
Did Thrawn exist yet?
Yes, he did.
When was
Not in
that?
this, not in the sense that we knew him, but yes, he did exist. Because he was around in Legends continuity, and he was kind
Okay,
of a
no, no, now
different
I understand. No,
character.
now I understand. Sorry. Now I know what you mean. I was like, what? No, but no,
So,
that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
let me.
So,
I want to see
overall, I mean,
when
I got
Rebels.
nothing else to say. I mean, like I said, it was the least performing in my opinion. And then for you, Mike, I've decided we're gonna watch two movies. Now, when I say two movies, we're gonna watch one movie this week and one movie next week.
Thank you for clarifying. I guess.
So, two movies that I think one we really should see,
Okay.
and the other one is an animated one that I'm very interested to see. So we're gonna watch New Mutants.
Is that an animated or
No,
live
that's the
action?
live action one. The one that was like supposed to come out years ago and never came out and then came out.
Oh wait, I did know this one. Okay, wait, I've been seeing random clippets on Twitter. Okay, all right, that's fine. Is it on Disney
Because we
Plus?
huh?
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, that's what I'm literally on it right now to tell you which one. So I think next week. So here's my question: do you want to watch the New Mutants first, or do you want to watch Hulk, Where Monsters Dwell?
Uh, let's do New Mutants because if let's do the live action movie first.
I agree because I might find a better movie than this one because I'm right now I'm not a huge fan of it. But
Oh, okay. All
well,
right.
no, because I'm reading it and I'm like, the animation looks kind of weird, but I'm curious. Like, it's piquing my interest because it's got Doctor Strange and like the Howling Commandos, which are like Swamp Thing, Werewolf at Night, and
Oh,
things of that nature.
okay.
So like that's why I was looking at it because I'm like that does pique my interest because it's very me.
Mm. Well, the way that you were saying it was you knew of the movie, so it seemed like you were interested in it. So obviously, like if you find something different, then we have a
Well, that's
week
kind
to
of my
figure it
point
out.
because I was looking to see if there's any other like animated movies of Marvel, but I thought the New Mutants would be awesome, and then we'd go from there. Because but yeah, so we'll do New Mutants next week, and then we'll deal with the rest of it.
All right, that's fine. Just so you know, because this show ended in 2012, Rebels started in 2014. So the new Thrawn wasn't even
A thing yet.
yeah. I mean, it might have been a concept, but it wasn't in action yet. So
That's fair.
um, yeah. All right. Well, I
Oh,
guess
sorry, your
then,
character spotlight. I
are you ready
apologize.
for my character spotlight, or is there something
I
more you want to add?
No, 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 no. That was it. I thought when I was done, I thought it made it clear that it was you next. So that's on me.
He just kind of went silent on me, so I'm like, all right, all right. So this week, I figured I wanted to touch a little bit on Clayface. Um, I figured that because we're cutting the Clayface movie later this year, that has been
Hmm.
delayed. I was kind of looking to see if there are like other important characters that are in the Clayface, you know, uh,
World.
story. But what I actually found is that
Sorry, I have to stop you for 1 second. There is a show we're gonna have to watch. Like, I'm making us watch it because
okay,
this was one I really wanted to see and I've not seen it yet. And it's supposed to be one of the best shows ever, Legion.
I think I've heard that show. I think I've heard it's good things about it. All right, that's
My
fine.
apologies, continue.
How many seasons is it?
Three. And I think each season's 8 episodes.
Okay, yeah, next break we can do that.
But just so
That's
you,
perfectly
just to
fine.
warn you though, apparently I lied to you. Season one is 8 episodes. Season two is 11, and season three is eight. Okay. Each episode's like an hour.
I mean, that's fine as long
No,
as
I'm
I
just
mean,
letting you know. I'm warning you because that's about the same. I would say close to it. No, we did 13, so no, it wouldn't be the same.
oh, for the Defender saga.
No, for well, yes, that actually, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, but the next break we're gonna get is during my work season, so it'll be a little bit more of a struggle for me, but we'll make it work.
Well, like I said, it's something at least more manageable in general. So I do apologize.
I mean, especially with it being only 8 episodes, that's pretty manageable.
Agreed.
Um, okay, so Clayface. Um, apparently, something that I did not realize is that I knew that there were multiple Clayface people who were Clayface.
Okay.
Apparently, there are a lot more Clayface characters than I realized. So the first Clayface character, his name was Carlo, Basil Carlo. He was first introduced in June of 1940.
Mm-hmm.
So during the golden age of comics, Basil Carlo, uh, he was a B-list actor who was driven insane when he hears that a remake of the classic horror film he had starred in, Dread Castle, would be shot without him acting in the film, even though he is to be one of the advising staff. Donning the costume of Clayface, a villain he once played in a different movie, he began killing the actors playing characters he killed in the order and the way they die in the film, along with someone who knew his identity. Last, he plans to murder the actor playing the Clayface killer. He is foiled. Eventually, he is foiled by Batman and Robin. He reappears after the prison ambulance he is riding in plunges off a cliff. He once again dons the mask of Clayface and targets Bruce Wayne's fiancee, Julia Madison. Nothing significant on her.
Just the way you said there's nothing significant. Moving on.
My bad. I just the only
just the way you said it. The way you said it. That's why I'm
because I didn't realize before that it was the name was highlighted, so I clicked on it to see if there was something like important on her, and it's just like girlfriend, fiance of Batman. Okay. So once Clayface broke out and he started attacking Julie Madison, again Batman and Robin stopped him. Now that was in the Golden Age. In the Silver Age, it says that while the Earth's one version of Clayface had a similar history, he was only seen in a flashback of Alice Chilton, reminiscence of Bruce Wayne's growth from when her son Joe Schill shot Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne to his path to become Batman. Clayface was later killed by John Carligan during his attack on Carlinger's yacht. My goodness, could not say that. There is more information on him, but I'm going to save that for later because he's significant for a later Clayface.
Okay.
Now, post-crisis. In the post-crisis continuity, Carlo languishes in a prison hospital when the current Clayface, Sandra Fuller, visits him out of curiosity. Carlo proposes an alliance between all living Clayfaces to kill Batman and did an attempt to resurrect Matt Hagen. He even arranges for a small piece of the remains of Matt Hagen to be gathered to make him a post-mortem member of the Mud Pack, as the group calls itself. You don't like that? Even though the Mud Pack is defeated, Carlo injects himself with blood samples from Preston Payne and Sandra Fuller, gaining the ability to shapeshift and melt with a touch. He becomes the self-declared ultimate Clayface. He is defeated by the combined efforts of Batman and Looker of the Outsiders by overloading his abilities, making him melt into the ground. He literally sinks into the Earth's crust when he loses control of his powers. He survives, however, and now his body sports crystals similar to quartz that endow him with greater power. Carlo escapes his underground prison when Gotham City is struck by a great catalysm. He captures Batman and is about to kill him, but he gets into a feud with Mr. Freeze and who has a right to kill Batman. Using that distraction, Batman soundly defeats both of them. In Batman's No Man's Land, Carlo holds Poison Ivy prisoner in Robinson Park. After she is freed from her prison by Batman, Ivy battles and defeats Carlo, sinking him deep into the ground. And apparently, Clayface is seemingly actually destroyed from this battle. In Infinite Crisis, Clayface resurfaces as a member of Alexander Luthor Jr.'s secret society of supervillains. Later, he seeks to increase his already formidable powers by absorbing Wonder Woman. Not Wonder Woman, but a clay construct similar to her, giving him an amount of powers that border on invulnerability. While he is successful in absorbing some of the heroine's powers, causing her to regress to a teenager, he is ultimately returned to normal when Wonder Woman and Donna Troy trick Clayface into entering a train carriage with Wonder Woman while she was disguised as Donna. Donna subsequently used the lasso of truth to swing the carriage around and turn it into a mystical centrifuge, causing the Clayface had taken from Wonder Woman to split away from him and reemerge with Wonder Woman herself. Carlos is one of the members of the Injustice League, and he is seen during the Salvation comic series. In the New 52, his origin is given in the Batman The Dark Knight. As a child, Basil Carlo came from a poor family. Still, they were able to afford the necessities. Carlo, despite to be desperate to become noticed, decided to join his school's acting program, but was repeatedly turned down. As Carlo grew up, he joined more and more acting programs and kept getting denied. One day, Carlo heard from a fellow actor, Penguin, had access to a chemical formula that would make anyone a great actor. Carlo sought out Penguin and, finding him, used the formula excitedly. Penguin handed over the formula as he had no use for it. Carlo learned he had become malleable. Soon he was a successful actor, appearing in horror and romance films frequently, but soon Penguin was losing money due to a gang war and called upon Carlo to give him a hand. Turning to crime, Carlo became a killer and slowly lost his sanity. I am going to skip now because there are two other iterations, the DC Rebirth and Infinite Frontier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to skip those, and I'm going because now this is more into familiar territory with us, with the Clayface that we know in recent times.
Okay.
I'm going to start talking about the different Clayfaces. So, the second version of Clayface, Matthew Hagen, first appeared in the Detective Comics in 1961. He was a treasure hunter, and Hagen finds a mysterious radioactive pool of protoplasm in a cave. Immersing himself in it by accident, he is transformed into a malleable clay-like form which could be shaped into almost anything he desires. This is only a temporary effect, however, requiring him to return to the pool periodically to maintain the use of his powers. His criminal activities attracted the attention of Batman and Robin, and Batman discovered his weakness and defeated him. Hagen later escapes from prison and decides to investigate the protoplasm substance that turned him into Clayface so that he can find a way to prolong his powers. Clayface poses as wealthy civilians of Gotham to learn more about his criminal activities. Batman and Robin later confront Clayface at his hideout, using a combination of freeze gun and the protoplasmic substance to defeat Clayface and return him to prison. Once again, he eventually breaks out of prison and uses the protoplasmic pool to become Clayface once again. This time, Batman defeats Clayface by immersing himself in the protoplasm, with the resulting battle causing Batman to destroy the cave that contained the protoplasm pool. Protoplasm pool. That's a lot of P's.
That is a lot of P's.
Clayface later appears as a member of the Queen's Bees Anti-Justice League to capture the Justice League, and they are eventually defeated by the Justice League. During the Crisis of Infinite Earths storyline, Matt Hagen is killed by one of the Anti-Monitor's shadow demons, together with Bug-Eyed Bandit. In the Infinite Frontier, Matt Hagen's version of Clayface first appears as one of the escapees of Arkham Asylum. He briefly fought Batman before escaping into the sewers. By the time Batman caught up to Clayface, he tried to fool him in the form of Damian Wayne, only for Batman to throw a net on him. When Clayface breaks free, Batman has Penny 1 use the Batmobile's sonic cannon on him. Penny 1 then tells Batman that he has alerted the police, who will take Clayface to Arkham Asylum. Next, Clayface. The third version of Clayface, Preston Payne, first appeared in Detective Comics number 477.
4,732.
It definitely feels like that, doesn't it? That was in 1978. Suffering from hyperpituitarism. That's a big word. This is a condition due to the primary. It typically results from That doesn't. That's way too many big words. I don't know what this is, so I can't. I can. Way too many big words.
I'm waiting, and Mike's literally just going. It's a thing that messes with your, it goes in the. It has to do with. You know what? I'm not going to talk about it because it's too many big words.
Could not pronounce any of those words.
I don't disagree with you because I don't know what it is, but I find it hilarious that that's how that went. It literally went from being like ready to talk about it to then being nowhere.
Well, when I click on it, it's like, okay, this is what it is, and then the words did not help me understand what it is. So it's just like
I have more questions than answers now.
Oh, okay. Suffering from something, Payne works at Star Labs Gotham division searching for a cure. He obtains a sample of Matt Hagen's blood and isolates an enzyme which he introduces into his own bloodstream. Although he is briefly able to shape his own appearance, this effect is short-lived. While on a date, his flesh begins to melt, and when he grabs his horrified girlfriend's arm, she completely dissolves into protoplasm. Payne builds an exoskeleton to support his body and contain his cognition, but he soon learns that
Collagen?
No, it's Contagion. Contagion?
I think contagion sounds better.
Um,
and that's without me seeing it. That's why I'm saying it that way.
yeah. He builds this exoskeleton, but he learns that he needs to transmit this dissolving contagion onto others to survive by touching them. During this time, his mental health starts to slip as he falls in love with a wax mannequin he names Helena, thinking that she is the only woman who is immune to his touch. During the Mud Pack storyline, Sandra Fuller, the fourth Clayface, begins masquerading as the superheroine Looker and visits Payne at Arkham. That same night, he gets into an argument with Helena and unintentionally knocks her head off, believing that he has killed her. Payne goes on a rampage until he is subdued by guards. Fuller, who is still using Looker's appearance and powers, rescues him and influences him to follow Carlo's commands. Carlo ultimately betrays Payne and Fuller and takes samples of both their blood to inject into himself. Payne finally breaks free of Fuller's control and is about to kill her when she admits how sorry she was for using him. The two, after escaping, fall in love and go on to live together while on the run, leading to Fuller becoming pregnant with their child, Cassius. Sandra Fuller. Like I said, she is the fourth Clayface, also known as Lady Clay. She is a member of Strike Force Cobra, who is transformed into a shapeshifter by her employer, Cobra's technology. She agreed to go through with the process because she hates her own face. The process works, and she becomes a member of Strike Force Cobra. Clayface possesses identical abilities to those as the past Clayface, but they are permanent without the requirement for exposure to a source of protoplasm. She can additionally copy any special powers of the being she is mimicking. Eventually, she is defeated by the outsiders, but gets away. Later, after the Mud Pack forms and battles Batman, Fuller falls in love with Preston Payne. And after Clayface Prime, Carlo, is defeated, Preston Payne and Sandra Fuller escape and get married while on the run, and they have a child, Cassius. Cassius Clay Payne, which is a play on the boxer's name, Muhammad Ali.
His real name.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Cassius Marcellus Clay Jr. I actually didn't know that was his real name. Be perfectly honest.
Who, Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
I think it's just Cassius Clay. I thought, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, he has a middle name apparently.
I would never have known, to be honest. And I'm not trying to be a jerk there. I legitimately would never know. I'm lucky. I know that wasn't his real name.
Like I just said, I didn't know. I mean, he's known as that, so I just assumed.
I don't ask me how I know, but I know.
I mean, now as I've learned, it makes sense because a lot of people a lot of famous people are told to change their names because it's not a good name
It's a
to.
they need a better marketing name.
Yeah. So
Is normally what it
as
comes down to.
um, I didn't know that that was a thing that was like back then. So I mean, but it does make sense.
Mr. T, and I end my statement.
Yep. um, After Apertoire kidnaps the child, the couple get into a fight involving Ezreal and Batman. Eventually, Batman beats them and puts them in jail.
That
Um,
makes sense.
okay. I was connecting, so I paused to make sure it was situated. Um, Now, the fifth Clayface, Cassian Payne. The boy is separated from his parents and held in a government laboratory. The name Cassius is a pun on Cassius Clay, the birth name of Muhammad Ali. If a piece of him is separated from his body, it can grow a mind of its own, but it mostly thinks it is an unstable form of what Cassius wants. If bonded with another human, it becomes a clay thing. The piece can give that human clayface like abilities, such as becoming soft and malleable, being able to withstand bullets and other forms of harm, and could also manifest Payne's ability to melt objects. All this person would have to do to perform such an action is to think about it. Cassius finds it very painful and distressing to have pieces of him taken, and will go to crazed lengths to recover them. When Thomas Eliot attempted to give himself the shape-shifting abilities of the Clayface, he determined that Cassius is the only pure Clayface in existence, as all others retain fragments of their former human DNA, where Cassius is the only Clayface who was never human. Um, in a Batman Gotham Knights issue, Cassius is depicted as having a clay-like appearance of his mother and father, but can only stay in this form while awake. The sixth Clayface, known as Claything. His name is Peter Malley. Claything is created when a skin sample from Cassius Payne comes to life and merges with DEO, scientist Peter Malley. He has the ability to melt objects simply by looking at them. Claything is destroyed when Cameron Chase turns his own powers against him, and he remains stored at the DEO headquarters. The seventh version of Clayface debuted in January of 2002 in a Catwoman comic. This character does not remember his true identity, but it is said that he resembles the actor Todd Russell. Struggling with his memory loss, he used his aliases such as Brian, Greg, and Todd. Having the powers to change into virtually any shape and size, he preys upon prostitutes in Gotham's East End until Catwoman is able to contain his severed head inside of a freezer. There are very few background details given about his character's past. He was in the army, suffered injuries, and was subsequently experimented on before losing most of his memory and discovering his new powers. After his capture, he is held captive and further experimented on for almost 2 years at Star Labs in Gotham before being freed by Catwoman. The eighth version of Clayface, Johnny Williams. He debuted in February of 2005. Williams is a former firefighter who transformed into a clay-based creature after an explosion in a chemical plant. He first discovers his transformation after he accidentally kills a prostitute. Horrified and stricken with guilt, he plans to commit suicide. Before he can do so, he is approached by Hush and the Riddler, who tell him that the chemicals turned him into the latest Clayface. They begin to manipulate Williams, promising a cure if he does their bidding. This includes pretending to be Thomas Eliot and Jason Todd to hurt Bruce Wayne. Eliot also takes some samples from Williams to try and determine how he can duplicate the shape-shifting aspect of Clayface without losing his original form. Also using these samples to infect Batman's ally, Pennyworth. This infection was a virus that allowed Hush to exert some degree of control over Alfred, forcing him to commit murder. Eventually, Williams realizes he is being manipulated, and Hush will never help him after Hush tries to steal a sample of Cassius. Knowing that he is going to die, William offers Batman assistance against Hush in exchange for protecting his family. He redeems himself by providing Batman with samples of himself so that Batman can find a cure for the virus that has infected Alfred. Okay. There are 4 more Clayfaces. Johnny Carlinger was a renowned actor and director who held a film exposition aboard the yacht Varina III. Basil Carlo, the original Clayface, assaulted Carlinger with murderous intent because Carlinger neglected to invite him to the event. But Carlinger killed Carlo instead. Feeling threatened by a few actors attending the exhibition, who were rumored to be demanding an audit of his production company's finances, Carlinger used Carlo's alter ego to mask his true identity and intentions when he gunned these actors down in cold blood. Batman deduced Clayface's true identity by the water solubility of his makeup, revealing it to be a type of makeup used by modern actors instead of the grease paint Carlo was more likely to use. Batman punched Carlo's lights out and exposed his murder scheme. The 9th version of Clayface, the Clayface of Japan. Batman tasked Batman Japan to fight the Clayface of Japan about 2.5 months into his Batman Incorporated venture. Batman Incorporated is a comic series.
Mm-hmm.
Not much is known about this Clayface, except that he resembles all the previous other Clayfaces and seems to have their same set of powers. Presumably, this Clayface is a rival to Asamu, who is a native of Japan. Batman states that this Clayface is a newcomer, a samurai, and operates in or around Hokkaido. The Clayface clones. In the New 52, a villain named Jeffrey Bode makes several short-lived clones of Clayface. And now the last Clayface. This is the Clown Face. That being known as Clownface began as a stray piece of Clayface body that became unattached and gained enough sentience to morph itself into a mute old man. This man was found and taken to Arkham Manor because of his unresponsiveness. Later, the Joker infected this portion of Clayface with Joker venom, morphing it into a separate entity dubbed Clownface. In the DC All-In comic series, Clownface appears at a Clayface gathering called the Fraternity of Mud. When Harley Quinn accidentally crashes the gathering, Clownface and the other Clayfaces attack her. The Clownfaces stop their attack when Harley uses formaldehyde on the Clownface. Formaldehyde. Sure, that. I don't know what that is.
It's morticians use it to bomb bodies.
Okay, that makes sense. And that is all of the Clayfaces from comics.
Oh, sorry, that's used for taxidermy. I apologize. Similar but different. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, either way.
My knowledge is odd.
Yes, it is. I know this. Yeah, so that's all of them. Obviously, the powers and abilities of Clayface, they can morph their body, they can become malleable, turn into other people. Some of them can take their abilities. I just thought I didn't realize that there were this many other Clayfaces.
I mean, I will agree with you.
I thought that, there were like 3 or 4 different versions. I didn't realize that there were like 10 or 11. And I don't remember if they announced which Clayface we are going to be seeing in the movie. But they have a lot to choose from.
You're correct. They do. More than I thought, to be honest. That was my big thing, where it was way more than I thought.
Yeah. Yep.
But also not surprising. But anyway, so next week we're going to be going over New Mutants, any trailers that come out, in my character spotlight. So for
Definitely
now,
your character spotlight.
so any if you made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Heel Podcast. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.